Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Make Your Mark podcast. And boy, do I have an amazing guest for you today. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Kay, you say that about all your guests. But seriously, she is amazing. Now, her name is Christina. She's trained in sales funnel success. Marketing is her passion. She is a certified partner with Infusionsoft stroke Keep. I know some people know it as Infusionsoft or Keep. Well, she works and trains in several different platforms, designing successful marketing funnels for her clients. And I'm telling you guys, she is a godsend. She has totally helped me out. Now, she invests in the time to get to know her clients, their market, their strengths, and their weaknesses in order to build full bodied funnels. Now, with over 13 years of experience in this field, Christina brings a lot to the table, along with joyful heart and integrity mindset. She supports the growth of several businesses and on their paths to success. Oh my goodness, Christina, thank you so much for coming onto this show.
Oh, thank you, Kay, for having me. This is so much fun. I just love talking to you, and this is going to be a great show.
Definitely. I mean, we have had so many different conversations around all the little nitty gritty tech and funnels, and you giving me ideas and how things should work and all this great stuff. I knew I had to have you on my show because there's so many people just like me that struggle with this, right?
I appreciate that, and you do give back, so don't sell yourself short there.
Thanks, Christina. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty of tech, right, I would love for you to share with our audience a little bit about your background, your journey, and how you got to this point, because we all know it doesn't happen overnight, right?
Right. And it's funny because I would say, and somehow mine kind of did, but
Oh.
what it was is I was in animation for 20 years.
Hmm.
And I was an associate producer, so I handled budgets and schedules and teams physically on site and paperwork like you wouldn't imagine and everything. And it was all down to organization, process, and procedures. Well, after 20 years, I decided to leave that career and with the brilliant entrepreneur mind to open my own business. And so my sister says, "Hey, do you know A Weber?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." Or no, Constant Contact. It was not A Weber, it was Constant Contact. So I'm shaking my head no on the phone and I'm telling her, "Yeah, I do." And she's like, "Okay, so I need you to create this newsletter for me because I'm doing this." And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "Okay, sounds great. I'll call you tomorrow." Well, at that point, I went and opened a free Constant Contact account. And
Ooh.
then I went in and I did all the studying. And the next day, I had a newsletter like template ready and said, "Oh, it's super easy. See, you could do it right here." And she's like, "Oh." So then I went to a networking meeting, which I don't like networking because I like to be in the back corner and like to be quiet. And I go with my sister, and she introduces me to this wonderful woman named Susan Levin.
Ooh.
And she has passed away. Today happens to be her birthday. So
Wow.
I'm celebrating her birthday. And Susan gets up at a different group while I'm there. And she goes, "I want you to meet my virtual assistant, Christina." Mind you, I haven't done any work for her or anything, but she loves me so much that she's like, "Okay, I need this done, this done, this done." And I just went and learned those platforms and came back in the next week and had it all done. I mean, it was GoToMeeting, I think, and WebEx. She was trying to decide which one and all of this stuff. And that's actually how my virtual assistant company got built overnight. It just
Wow.
happened. And at that point, everything was word of mouth.
Ooh.
And I had a full deck of clients. And somebody was using Infusionsoft, asked me about it. My common answer, "Sure." And I went in and I learned it. And Infusionsoft actually contacted me and asked me to become a partner because I was able to train people how to use it in a way that their training staff couldn't. They couldn't get
Wow.
through to a lot of people. So they needed me to be a partner so they could send me people to be able to talk in their words. If you like football, I'm going to tell you Infusionsoft step by step using football terms or things like that. So it worked out really good. And I became a partner back in 2010, I think it was. And it's been a great partnership since, and led me to building and training to all the marketing background that I've absorbed through those 13 years, and started strategies for small businesses section of the business, I guess, corporation, about 5 years ago.
Wow. Okay, that sounds like a journey. Now, I guess the biggest thing that's really kind of standing out for me in regards to you is that you were confident enough to say, yeah, let me just go and figure this out with this system and figure out with that system. Like a lot of people can't do that, but you've got a strong skill set there. Like, how did that come about? Have you always been like that?
Good question. Yes, I think so. You know, being an only child at home and a mom who worked and a single mom, I had to take care of everything. So I think I was always take care of myself, and that became part of it. I have a phenomenal older sister who is an entrepreneur and an amazing woman, and was always supporting me in every step of the way. And so that's a big part of that, of the go get it. One thing I would like to correct you in what you just said, when you said a lot of people can't do that, I have found that a lot of people are more scared to do that, and they're more, they let the intimidation factor fall in to where they say they can't do something. I got into, I won't say a physical altercation with a gal, but it was a loud conversation at an event that I was at, and we were teaching people how to use this email program that when you create the email and you record the video, then it sends it out, kind of like BombBomb. Okay. And we're sitting there, and I was explaining it to the people that my sister had gathered together that didn't know how to use it. And I said, look, push the buttons. You're not going to break it. Write the email, address it to your best friend, address it to your husband, and push the button. You won't break it. Well, this other tech person who wants to control everybody decided to tell everybody there, I'm wrong, you can break it. I'm like, no, this is a platform that is here. You can't break it. It's not like shutting down a server for your website, and there's things you need to know. Because I'm not a control freak. I want to empower everybody. And that was me for Constant Contact. I went in, got the free account, and just started pushing buttons. You know, their support staff is there for you. So I encourage everybody to touch it, you know, and try, and then ask your questions so that it fits into how you can learn how to use it.
Oh my goodness. So, Christina, I've got to say, like, I'm one of those people that is terrible with tech myself. You know this. And do you know what's happened? I remember I was at an event and they asked me to set up the audio machines, right? Like the speakers and all of this. And I was like, I've never done this before. I've never done it. And I'm like, they were like, no, it's easy. Like you can figure it out. And I'm like, are you guys sure about this? Right? And they were like, no, it's really easy. It's simple. Like you can figure it out. Okay, I tried to figure it out. I blew up the speakers, Christina. Right? And then ever since then, I've been scared to touch anything.
Got it. Right. I have to agree with you. If I was put in that same situation, I wouldn't touch it. Like I like to go to events. Like I focused in my virtual assistant company. I have a couple clients that I travel with. So when they travel to another state or whatever and they're speaking, I go and you know the deal, go and I support them. I handle their tables in the back and all of that. But it's my job to make sure they have the presentation and all of that. And the friend, they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I said, here's your thumb drive. And they're like, okay, well, you could just put it on there and load up the presentation. I'm like, oh, no. That's a physical computer that belongs to you guys. That's your setup. I'm not touching it. But things like Constant Contact or Aweber or Infusion software, where it's a platform
Yes.
created for people to use. But I too, I would have not plugged in those speakers. I would have said, I need to go to the restroom.
Right. So when it comes to a platform or software, it's okay to start pressing buttons and figuring out. When it's a physical, actual machine, speakers that you're gonna plug in, keep away, run,
That's right.
don't touch it.
If it is somebody else's entity, they built the whole website. I have a website that was built for one of my clients by a specific webmaster.
Hmm.
I know how to do websites. I know the theme, I know the WordPress, but out of respect for him, I will tell him, hey, these things need to be changed because I don't want to touch his creation, if that makes
Right.
sense, like respecting
Absolutely.
him as an artist. So,
Absolutely.
or I ask him to make me a video of exactly how he wants me to touch
Right.
his thing. Even though I already know he might have a little nuance that's specific to him. And that's what really helps, because it's their entity. So that's kind of how I define the difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I want to take a couple of steps back here because you mentioned earlier on you have this unique skill, right? It takes people years to hone this skill, but how you talk to your clients and you talk to them in the language that they understand, right? So you can adapt to them. How did you come to this solution, right? You're very solution orientated anyway. How did you come to learn that this is the way to get through to your clients? Even Infusionsoft team didn't know how to do this.
I think a lot of it came from, I would have to say that's where it goes back to my inner soul.
Mm.
I believe, and I've been told that I'm a servant at heart. So I will just, like, you call and you're like, you need this, boom, 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 let's get it done. It's just, I'm just going to do it. And the other one is I'm a teacher at heart. I'm
Mm.
constantly teaching. And if you, and I worked in between, in between, let's see. Yeah. Animation, and I had a little bit of time that I had moved away from animation before I went back to it in that 20-year span. I was pregnant and I worked at a junior high school. So I worked with kids that were learning English. And so
Ah,
you had to stop and think about things because it wasn't that hard, but they were intimidated and they were scared. So you had gang kids, you had, kids that were just coming over an immigrant, statuses, or because it was in Los Angeles, California. And it's just, you just wanted to put your arms around them and go, it's not that hard, here, you could do it like this. And so I think always having to think in those terms, and then raising, I have two adult children of my own, and I raised them to be super independent. They can do anything. It's always making them think. So putting it in terms that makes their will go is what I've just always done.
wow, wow. And it's funny because even a lot of leaders out there don't have that skill. They struggle with that. But this is why you're the perfect person when it comes to the operation side of it. And I know you work with different businesses, working with different teams and doing the operations and getting teams together and being able to communicate with them to make sure that all the cogs are ticking away in the background, right? That
Right.
you've got so many of these super skills that many people are still trying to hone in, right? Still trying to learn, and you have them naturally, which is awesome. Now, I guess as someone that is overseeing all the background, the operations side of it, right? And people in teams, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you constantly see businesses doing over and over again?
Good question. And I think we've touched base on this a couple times.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I talk a lot to potential clients when we're having our first meet and greet, when I'm doing kind of an intake and getting to know them, um, in addition to clients that I've had for a long time, it's that everything comes to a halt with them. Like,
Mm.
it's their business, and there's certain things that their team need to have in place to continue. So I end up saying, think of it as a machine. Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing that the team needs from you is the gas. And if your gas pump is dry, the engine stops and everybody's sitting around twiddling their thumbs. So if they need an email approved so they can finish the sales funnel, boom, here's the email. Take the 2 minutes for your team to get that done, because then they're still working while you're, going on a cruise, whatever. But you and I talked about podcast producing. You are an amazing example, and you teach on the thing that even I need help with, is doing them in blocks, getting them done, record them, whether they're interviews or topic ideas or training ideas. You should have your marketing plan out. The team should know that. They know what their jobs are. You got to put that gas in there so they can keep going, and you can step away and do what you want to do. And that's the biggest thing, is listening to your team needs and supplying them. It's not every conversation that, oh, I need to go talk to Bob, and I need to go this, and oh, so-and-so wants to have lunch, and all of this. The team should always be a priority, because they're the one that's keeping your engine moving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, one of the things that I say to my team is, I'm not the boss here, you are, right? Because they're the ones that keep it going, right? Like, most of the stuff, I have no idea what's going on because they deal with it, right? And so they come to me when they need something. Okay, all right, you need to start doing social media. Okay, what's happening with the emails? Okay, and I'm like, oh my goodness, right? But they are the bosses, right? They take control, and that's what you really want. That's why you hire a team of people, so it takes it off of you. And so
Right.
I hear what you're saying, that you got to feed into your team so they can keep continuing to keep the cogs moving in the background.
Right. I mean, I have a client that turns around and he announces from stage, okay, so I'm up here talking, but Christina's in the back and she's the boss.
Right.
So anything you need, you go talk to her. He says that he runs a 12-week program. He'll say all the time, if you guys need anything, call her. I just show up, and that's how he lives our relationship. And he has, since the day I met him, is that technically, tell me what you need, I'll give it to you, and tell me where I show up. And that's it. Otherwise, he might be skiing or playing golf, or he's having an amazing family vacation and all of that. And we're going and building a relationship with your team to where it's family, as opposed to they work for me. That mentality difference is important, because you want them to invest in your company with you and have, in a sense, of ownership. Not that you have to pay them a lot more, but just acknowledging them and referring to them, and like, I get surprise phone calls that's singing me good morning from a client. And it's like, seriously? Or I'll go call and check his voice messages, and I don't realize he answers it, and he'll punk me. I mean, it's serious, but we just laugh, and I hang up on him, and then he'll call me back later, and we'll be joking about it. But it makes it fun to work together, and that's really part of a team.
Yeah, no, I like that. When you can have that kind of banter and play off each other, it makes a huge difference in the environment that you're working in, for sure, right? So I love that. That's so funny. I'm going to try that one on you, Christina.
I think you're international.
And so it brings me to another question, and we were talking about this behind the scenes, right? A little bit. Tech and AI, right? And a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are embracing it. And so what are your thoughts on AI implementing it in businesses?
Great. It is the big, what I say, buzz. I'm sure you can, the easing with the newsletter came out probably 10 years ago, and it was like the big thing. And then podcasts hit a few years ago and kind of disappeared a little bit because I don't think people really knew how to use that technology to their advantage. Where now it's like, I think COVID really brought it into play because of people being home, and you could produce the content, you could learn about it, and it's just a wealth of knowledge. Now it's AI. And AI goes everywhere from written text to creating images, like we talked about, editing videos and creating snippets for you. I mean, it's in every genre almost instantaneously. It like dropped, you know. Even I got a notice from Google, because I use Gmail on certain things and Google Docs, that they now have an AI that I went into their beta. They asked me to be part of the beta, which probably hundreds of thousands of people, and it'll write in Google too. And I'm just like, holy smokes. I love the idea. I love it. I use it myself. What I don't do is take it as it's produced for me.
Right.
So once I get the results back, I need to go back in and I tell my clients, you have to edit this. You have to, like, I have a client, I'll write things for her even before AI, and I'll send it to her and I say, you have to Sharonize it, because it has to be her voice and her little quirky things to it. And though you can tell AI, do it in this and do it in that and do it in that, they still don't have your heart.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't want to put something out there that you didn't put your stamp of approval on. Like, think, if you had a ghostwriter writing a book, you would still be responsible for writing it. And AI is the ghostwriter. So you're still responsible. And I like I said, I think it's a great tool. I think it's awesome. I think we can use it. I just caution that people are now starting to set it and forget it. And that's, to me, that's not integrity. Integrity is, it's still you. It's just a tool to help you get the things you need to do done a little faster.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Now, you might get a bit mad at me, but I'm going to bring up the conversation that we had off screen about where you think AI is going, right? Now, you did mention that a lot of people are saying that, oh my God, it's turning into the movie like the Terminator. That's where things are going. But you don't think that. And I'd love for you to share with the audience what we kind of briefly spoke about off camera.
Right. So where I was going, or what we talked about, was with Terminator, it was an action movie with this muscle villain and this all that, and everything was expected, but it wasn't as if it had like a conscience. You know, it had a job to do and it was going to do the job, and that's it. And that's, to me, and I could be wrong, you know, like I said, I was in the industry for 20 years. I don't watch movies, but that's what I took from it. It didn't have a conscience. It didn't have feelings. It had a job. That robot had a job. It was to accomplish that job at any means possible. When I was on my honeymoon cruise to my current husband, we saw iRobot on the cruise. And that movie scared the poop out of me, because those robots collectively decided that they were going to wipe out humankind. It wasn't that somebody programmed them that they had a destination. That was a military. We were using it. It was doing this. And then all of a sudden, those entities turned.
Right.
And they were, and so I'm like, wow, we're feeding all this knowledge of everything that we want to say into AI and want to do. Are we creating these consciences that are going to then build it? So it kind of freaks me out. But it is like the other thing we talked about. It is the progression of what's going on. I mean, you went from no glasses to circle spectacles to bifocals to trifocals, now progressives that don't have any lines in them. I mean, it's a progression to always, I would say, not improve, but keep getting, you know, easier to use and easier to use. And so it's kind of scary, because you think about what can that take away from you as well.
Right.
So as you're using AI, don't become so dependent on it in your business that it actually is your business, as opposed to, it's just a tool. That's how I feel. Always keep it as a tool. I belong to a group that's amazing with AI. Um, if anybody contacts me, I'm happy to share the link. So much education coming from this group, and all these different AI platforms and everything. And like, people are like, oh yeah, I ask it to schedule my day out for me, and it schedules the whole day on my calendar because it knows what's in my emails, and it knows that I'm just like, whoa, then what are you knowing what you have?
Right.
You're counting on this machine to read it, evaluate it, and put it on your calendar. But what if you missed something that's really important? I guess that's the control freak in me. Like,
Right. And that's where people come and, say that you got to use AI like it's your virtual assistant,
mm-hmm.
right? Now, what are your thoughts on that? Because at the moment, we use human beings. We use human beings to do a lot of our stuff. We have teams, and then bringing in an AI and treating them as a virtual assistant. What are your thoughts on that? Is that a good thing, a bad thing? Should we just go with it? What should we do there?
I think that any business should or could use a combination. I think we are gonna always, and we should always, have a human touch.
Yes.
Think of how frustrating it is when you yourself need help with something support wise, and you call that support line, and you spend 5 minutes going through, pushing this help, saying this word, doing this, just to end up not speaking to a human, and your problem is not solved. Now, I get AI is getting better and it's going to be able to, but it's only going to be as good as what us humans put into it, right?
Yeah.
And I will tell you that I steer away from businesses that I can't speak to a human in,
Ah.
because I have teenagers at home, not my my grandkids. I already have ones that don't answer me, you know? And I work in an office that's by myself on a farm, so I can go talk to the cows, but I need human interaction,
Right.
right? And when I have a problem to solve, I need a person to go in and go, oh my gosh, I'm so glad it's really just clicking this one thing right here. Because I if I'm paying for service, I'm doing something, I really want a human. If I have my business, I will always have a human VA. It's like having that assistant that's walking through the hotel with you with their bag and your papers, and they're already knowing. And you have, like I said, that family camaraderie. Now, them having the tool of an AI assistant to help them accomplish their responsibilities to then report back to you, I think is a great idea. But I think you should always have a combination.
I agree with you as well. I mean, I'm really hot on AI with different tools and things we're using for our podcasting clients as well. And so much things can be done in a quicker amount of time. It helps with the efficiency of using your time, right? That's what I love with it. But you can't rely on it 100%. And I totally agree. You still need human interaction. People still need to have that connection with another human being, right? And that's goes quite a long way when it comes to customer support, customer service. That's what people want. I mean, it's so funny because I had a conversation with somebody earlier today where she talks about customer service and how important that is, and that companies need to get away from press this button, go to number 2 and number 3. How about, oh, we can't get back to you right now, but if you leave your name and telephone number, then we'll give you a call back, rather than spending hours on a call and then waiting for someone to, right? And so that's so funny that we're having this conversation again with regards to the customer service. But when it comes to your business, right, when you're helping your clients, you have a very different business model to most of them, because you're all about taking back your time, right? And that's what we're all here to do as well, learning how to take back your time. So I'd love for you to just explain to the listeners here, how you actually help your clients.
Sure. So in my business, we have two entities, if you will.
Mhm.
Strategies for small businesses is one that is my dear heart and where my passion really is. I won't say is only at, but is at, because that's where I'm really working hard to empower different business owners, whether it be helping them with a tech, training them and showing them and saying here, whether they push the button and ever operate it, they have those training materials that if their VA ever went by the wayside, they could come in and pick up where the VA was until they get another VA kind of thing. So they're empowered. My other one is training the teams and getting them organized with their process and procedures. I have in this genre or in this area, my marketing client care analysis, which is a full report of going from A to Z, everything you do in your business. Is it all synchronized together, or do you have something out there that was 10 years ago that you forgot that was out there that is not working with where you are today? You get a full report for that. And then my biggest passion, which is launching in January, is the Make It Happen Academy, which is the membership platform that we talked about, that every month we'll have one topic, and every week we'll do something on that topic where you will have a little bit of homework. I'll personally evaluate it in the last week, but you will know, like an email marketing platform, and be able to send an email before that month is over. So you can pass it to your team, but you will know how, and you won't be scared to push a button. So that's that. The second entity to my business, which is where I started way back in 2003, is, or excuse me, 2008, but is VA A Go Go. And that is the implementation team. So I still am involved with that. I have a virtual assistant team. The majority of them are US based, and they come in and they help implement different strategies that we're talking about and going through, and then help manage them if you want to keep, if you want to keep us on monthly, or if it's just project based.
Right. Now, I want to emphasize here that you you have a team who do the implementation, which is awesome. But having that conversation with you, and I've had several conversations with you with different ideas that I didn't think about, was so simple, right, to implement. And you actually showed me how to go about it, what system, where you need to click, and all of this kind of stuff that I wouldn't have any idea of doing. Even, I mean, it goes from helping me understand about funnels and creating funnels and what I could do, right? And have upsells and things like that, how to put it all together. But then it's a simple thing as the conversation we had yesterday about Bitly links, right? And it's like, okay, how do I track this and what do I do here? And you're like, oh yeah, all you have to do is do Bitly and bada bing, bada boom, and it's all done, and you can track this and track that. And I'm like, oh, right? And so whether it's a big project, a small thing, tools, the resources, you have them all. You can see it, you know it, you've worked with them, you've got experience with them, you know how it all works, right? And so
remember, if you ask me and I haven't, I'll say yes, and I'll go figure it out.
right, you go figure it out, right? Exactly. I love that. And so the point is, having that conversation with you could completely change the trajectory. Okay, I'm saying words I can't say, right? Can completely change the way your business is going, right? And can that it could amplify your business, just making these small changes to your business that we didn't know about, but you did.
Well, thank you. I love to talk to people and give them ideas. Again, that goes back to my servant heart. I love to get to know their businesses. I am not huge on like, oh, I have to sell all these things to anybody I talk to. You know that more than anything. And it's more, I want to empower everybody. I mean, I wish we could all, remember, doing something for somebody else is going to build them up, which builds you up, which then just, so I love to help people. And I have we have a calendar link that you can get on my calendar. It's just an introduction conversation. I will be what people tell me, I interrogate you, because I'm trying to extract a bunch of information so I could be the most assistance to you as possible. I can support you through that by hearing all the things I need to know.
Absolutely. So you need to understand their business, what their needs are, where they're looking to go, their goals, their visions, all that kind of stuff, to actually help them put certain things into place and make sure they actually reach their goals, which I absolutely love. And you can do that in a click of a finger. Now,
I hope so.
You can. I've seen it. You've done it for me several times. Christina, I would love for you to share the link. If you could just say it out loud, so if people are listening to it, they know. But if they want the link to actually book a call with you to have a conversation, please share that with us.
Sure. So I'm going to first say the website, because then you'll understand the link for the calendar. It's strategiesforsmallbusinesses.com. And and there'll be a calendar link at the bottom of that. You can click that and get on it. But to make it super easy, it's S as in Sam, F as in Frank, S as in Sam, B as in Bravo.info. So SFSB, it's first initial of each word, .info, and that takes you directly to my calendar. Book a call and we can, discuss things. And again, it's not for me to do anything except for really see if I can help you and give you a couple ideas you might not have in front of you at the moment.
Absolutely, guys. I urge you to get on a call with Christina, because no matter where you're at in your business, whether you're starting out, whether there's some complicated projects that you're going to be working on that you need help with, get on a call with Christina, because she's going to be able to help you out. Just like that, right? You don't need to be stuck. She's going to help you get unstuck. That's what she does, right? She's the unstuckable, right? I just made that up. I don't know if that even made any sense. I made that up, but we're going to go with it, right?
So
get on a call with her as soon as possible. Have a conversation with her. Let her know what you're doing. And I guarantee that you're going to be happy with the results, because I am so happy with the amount of work, the advice that she gives me for the projects and work that I'm doing, that I know she can help you guys out. Seriously, go and book a call. Do it right now. And if you missed the links, they will be in the show notes. So go down and scroll below and make sure you book a call in her calendar. Christina, oh my goodness, you've really given so many different golden nuggets in such a short amount of time. But if there's one last thing that you would want to share with our audience, what would it be?
I think it's just reiterating, don't stop yourself. And if it's that you need ideas, book a call, get a mastermind partner, do something, throw some ideas back and forth. But really don't be intimidated. Push a button, talk about it, schedule the time on your calendar for you and your business.
Absolutely. I love it. Christina, thank you so much for coming onto the show. I loved every minute of it. I love your energy and all your golden nuggets. And know that now I've found you and know what you can do. Like, there's no stopping me. I'm going to be hunting you down, and I'm going to be playing pranks on you too. Just
no. Thank you for having me, Kate. This was a blast. We always have fun talking, and it's good stuff.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.